Good morning, good morning, good morning, people. How are you, my beautiful, beautiful people? So, I feel like I start every post with something about me being late. But let me tell you, I am not late today. The problem is that Instagram limits the amount of characters that you can write, like with everything, right? And so when I post, like I'm taking anonymous questions every Tuesday in preparation for Wednesday, I'm limited. I can't say like 9 a.m. ish, which is what I really want to write, like around 9 a.m. ish. But every time I try to fit all the words in, I can't. So I am not late. I am not late because I do not support late behavior. However, it's 10 o'clock and I said 9, but I meant 9 ish. So it's not my fault. So do not hold me accountable this time. Okay. Okay. So welcome everyone again. My name is Alison from Align with Alison. I'm a dating and relationship coach. I primarily work with women to help them find the love and commitment that they deserve. You may hear some little noises in the back. I do apologize. I am doing some renovation in my kitchen, so there's a little bit of noise, but not enough to hold us back from doing the job that I have been sent and ordained to do. So, if you are new to my page, every Tuesday I put a post in my story and I ask you all to ask me questions anonymously. And then I share your responses or my responses to your questions live on the next day, which is the Wednesday morning. And I implore all of you who are here on the live to respond and let me know what advice you would offer. What are your thoughts? What do you think? And I also implore you to share this page with others. If there's anyone else that you know who's struggling in their romantic relationships, finding a partner, if there's anyone who just enjoys talking about romance and relationships and dating and all of that good stuff, then please, please, please share this live as well as my page with them and have them enjoy the fruits of our labor. So, yesterday we're gonna jump right in. Yesterday I received 4 questions. I received 4 questions that I'm going to answer here live. This live would be posted in my IG stories, or no, my IGTV. So if the person who asked the question is not here, which obviously I would not reveal because it's anonymous, if you're not here, feel free. You can check out the answers. They will be there. They will be saved, and it's all good. So the first question I received is, any advice on how to date a man who has a child? Any advice on how to date a man who has a child? So, y'all not gonna like my advice. Y'all not gonna like my advice, especially the people who have children. My advice is that if you don't have children, I would highly recommend that you do not date someone with a child. My advice is, if you don't have children, especially because let's be honest here, there's lots of women who have children and say they don't want to date a guy with children. And my thought is like, how can this be? Like, how can you have a standard or an expectation or concerns, but when it's you, it's all good, but when it's somebody else, it's a problem. If you do not have children, I do not recommend you dating someone with a child or with children. That is my belief and that is my approach. Now, the reason why I say that is because if you do not have children, you are not going to have a full-on understanding of what it takes in order to care for children. You're not going to have a full understanding of the stressors. You're not going to have a full understanding of the dynamic of co-parenting. And so why should you put yourself in a position that could potentially be extremely stressful and overwhelming for something that you're never going to get? You're never going to get it, right? And me working in education, I'm accustomed to, especially moms saying, well, you don't understand what it's like to have a child. You're absolutely right. I don't, right? Even though I've worked with thousands of children. So I'd like to think that I have a level of experience, but I don't know what it is to be a mother. I don't know what it is to co-parent. And to avoid all conflict whatsoever, my recommendation is to avoid, if you don't have children yourself, to avoid dating men with children. That is my recommendation. Now, many ways may say that that's extremely difficult to do because as we get older, obviously, we're going to be meeting more people who tend to have children because as people get older, they tend to want to have children, want to procreate, want to have a family, want blah, blah, blah. Things didn't work out. Or many times, guess what? Things didn't work out from the beginning and people just having children willy-nilly. But that's another conversation. Anywho, so things didn't work out. And so now, again, the dating pool is shrinking And so the things that you may want or you may desire may not be an option. I get that. So if it's quote unquote unavoidable, then my next best piece of advice is to date someone who has older children. Older children. Old. I'm talking about they are 2 years away from walking out of that house and going to college. That way, no harm, no foul. Like if I'm dating someone who has a 15-year-old kid, they're functional on their own. They are not really going to be as involved in the he said, she said, and bringing back rumors. Like they have their own life going on. They're growing as human beings, and they are about to be out of the house, relatively speaking, right? They're going to be out of the house soon anyway. So why, like, okay, I am not ever gonna advise anyone to date anybody who has a kid who is a newborn, who's an infant, who is a toddler, who is like, please, because those two parties, the actual parents, have not figured out how to co-parent yet. And many times they're still doing what they did to make that baby in the first place. So again, to answer the question, what's my recommendation on dating someone who has children? Avoid it like the plague. If it's absolutely unavoidable, then date somebody who maybe has older children where it won't necessarily impact your relationship as much as a small child. Thank you, shorty. She said she liked my hair. Okay. So, I feel like I look a little James Brownish. It's a little too much, but it'll come down over the days. That's question 1. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. I thought I saw Lily say something. She said, I said this. Like, you ain't got kids. Stay far away from that arena. Okay? Question 2 is, when is it okay to compromise? This is a good question. When is it okay to compromise? There's a famous expression where people say that marriage is all of, like the number one thing about marriage is compromise, or marriage is all about compromise, or something along those lines, right? As I always say, because I know my limitations, I'm an honest human being. When it comes to marriage, I'm a newlywed. I'm deeply in love. You can't tell me nothing. So I don't talk about marriage because that's not my area of expertise, right? However, we've heard the expression before, so it's worth mentioning. Compromise is imperative to any relationship, any especially romantic relationship. It is imperative that there's compromise. But where do you draw the line? What I would recommend is you draw the line of compromise when that compromise is going to compromise your morals or your values. So if you have something that you strongly believe in, it's a part of who you are as a person, it is a part of your moral fabric, you are not going to compromise that, right? However, if your partner asks if you could wash the dishes a little bit more, right? It's not a part of it should not be a part of your moral fabric to not help in the household. If your partner asks if you can be more intimate, spend more quality time together, which means you may have to give up a little bit of the video games. You may have to give up a little bit of the conversations on the phone with your girlfriends. That should not be a compromise of who you are as a person. Now, for me, Alison, right? Who I am as a person, I am a feminist. And I use that word by the actual definition, not the way that the word feminism or feminist has been misconstrued and you don't wear deodorant and you hate men. No, I'm talking about I strongly support the equity of women in this society. That is a part of who I am as a person. If my partner is asking me to compromise on my belief system, that's where I'm going to draw the line. Does that make sense? So compromise where it is not going to impact or negatively affect who you are as a human being. You're not going to walk away and feel like I am not being true to myself because of this compromise. Compromise where, come on, either here nor there, you are not changing who you are as a human being. You're simply meeting this person where they are. Please let me know what you guys think in regards to compromise. Okay? And for those who are joining, hello everyone again. My name is Alison. I'm a dating and relationship coach. I primarily, but not exclusively, work with women to help them find the love and commitment that they deserve. I have an absolutely free training. The link is in my bio. You can watch it at your leisure or right now. And it really teaches women how to find their partner by, one, being reflective on where they went wrong in their former relationships so they can stop making the same mistakes over and over again. 2, which dating apps to choose and how to optimize their dating profile so they're attracting the right mates and they're repelling the wrong ones. And then lastly, how you are going to vet these people, because you're going to have all these folks coming towards you. But what processes can you put in place to vet these human beings to make sure as much as you can that they are a solid match for you? So we're going to keep going with our Q&A. These questions were submitted on Tuesday, and every Tuesday in my stories, I place where you can enter in a question 100% anonymously. And then Wednesday morning, I come back and I answer those questions live. And I also ask those who are here on the live to give some feedback. Let us know what your thoughts are in regards to the questions that are being asked. So far, the 2 questions that were asked were, any advice on how to date a man who has a child? The quick answer is don't, but feel free to rewind and see the full explanation. And the second question is, when is it okay to compromise? It is okay to compromise once you are not compromising who you are as a human being in order to meet that person where they are. We have 2 more questions. So question number 3 is, how can a couple be more communicative in a relationship? Can I just put a pause on something? When y'all were in elementary school and the teacher used to do a round robin and choose students to read, did you ever anticipate which paragraph was going to be yours before they came to you and did a practice read so you didn't sound silly when you know what I'm talking about? So just now when I got to this question and I'm like, communicative, yes, haha, I got it. So on the first try too. So how can a couple be more communicative in a relationship? Okay, so this is a bit complicated, only because obviously we don't have a lot of context. It's a quick question that's in a quick box. So for the person who asked me this, if you're looking for more feedback, please DM me and then we can get on a call and we can really talk this through, because I'd need to know more context before I think I'd be able to actually answer your question. Okay, so how can a couple be more communicative? The obvious would be that you talk, right? However, what I would imagine in this particular case is that they're not talking. Like there's something that's holding them back from being able to communicate. So the first thing that I would do is literally set aside time in your schedule to talk, right? And so I would approach my partner and say something along the lines like, hey, babe, we really haven't had a chance to catch up other than talking about the bills or the kids or on the politics or whatever. Let's go out in Long Island. Don't tell Cuomo I'm saying this. Let's go out in Long Island. You know, they still have indoor dining. Let's just go on a date. Let's just spend some time alone. Let's get somebody to watch the kids. I'll take a half day off of work. I have a lot of PTO. Let's go out and let's have a date. I think it's imperative that we date again, right? Like make America great again, make relationships great again. Let's start dating again. And even though dating is not easy, if this is your partner, you're already in the same space. You don't have to worry about COVID, right? Well, if you got it, and you already gave it to each other, so it's too late. So you can go out together and you can spend that quality time together so you can get to know each other and you can continue to date each other. No matter how many years you've been together, it is imperative that you're spending quality time. And so in order to reignite the flame and to start communicating again, more than just taking care of business, it's important that you date each other. However you can organize that date, make it happen. If that means you need to get an Airbnb or hotel room, you can hire somebody to cook for you if you want it to be really intimate, because intimacy is super important. And I actually shared this on my live yesterday where I interviewed Dr. Kia. I interviewed Dr. Kia and we spoke in depth about intimacy and how to rekindle that flame. Okay. Yes. Vacations. Thank you. Something Like podcast. If you're in a position to go on a date, there's still some countries that are open. And if you feel safe and comfortable to do so, going on a vacation or a mini vacation, even if it's to the Poconos, like if you could just drive up to Vermont, going and spending quality time, just the two of you, and promising that you're not going to talk shop. We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about the house and what's breaking down. We're not talking about the kids and they're not logging on and what the hell you're going to do because the teacher keeps calling you. Like, we're not doing that. We're talking about each other. You can also play games. There are plenty of card games. You can Google it. in regards to romantic relationships and getting to know each other again and asking some questions that you may have not thought of or you may have forgot about when you ask those cutesy questions on those first couple of dates, and get to know each other again. That's how you can reignite the flame. That's how you can begin to communicate again. And that's how you can reinforce the romance and the connection in your relationship. Last question. When do you know it's time to walk away from a friendship? Oh, sorry. See, I was talking all that junk about pre-reading and practicing, and then now I didn't pre-read, and now I messed up. This is why you got to pre-read. We were smart kids when we did that. When do you know when it's time to walk away from a relationship? When do you know when it's time to walk away from a relationship? So, there's a couple of answers here. Let's try to go as quickly as we can. Number one, it is important to walk away from a relationship when it becomes abusive in any form or fashion. We're not only talking about physical abuse, right? So if this person is abusive to you emotionally, mentally, financially, right? Manipulating money in order to get what they want, sexually, physically, whatever that abuse may be, as soon as you've identified it as abuse or you've shared it with a friend and they've identified it as abuse, do your research. I don't want you breaking up with people because your friend told you to, right? I have a client who always tells me, oh, my sister said, and my sister said. I'm like, is your sister a mental health professional? Because is your sister in a successful relationship? Because, right? So we're not making decisions willy-nilly. But once you have the inclination that you're involved in any kind of abusive relationship, then that is your opportunity to say that this is not healthy for me and it's time for me to chuck the deuces up, right? So, sorry for the noise. Yeah. So if it's abusive, that is where you draw the line and you need to leave expeditiously. I got that word from Lean On Me. Anybody watch Lean On Me on WB11 back in the 90s? I love that movie. Free Mr. Clark. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Expeditiously, you need to leave if the relationship is unhealthy and unsafe, right? So that's when you know when to draw the line. And then secondly, I actually posted in my stories about unhealthy relationships. So, and unhealthy relationships in regards to not that the person's not a good person, and it's still in my story, so check it out, y'all. Not that the person is not a good person, but they're not a good person for you. They're not a good fit for you. They're not fulfilling your desires. You have expressed your desires, right? Because we're not assuming that people are psychics. That's annoying. All right? Especially ladies, that's annoying. They are not psychics. And I would even venture out to say that men are not very astute to picking up what you're putting down unless you make it abundantly clear, right? They're not good at reading in between the lines. Just say what your problem is and say it clearly and say it repetitively. And they're going to call you a nag and they're going to be wrong because you're going to say, I'm not being a nag because had you done what I asked you to do 7 times ago, we wouldn't be in this position and you're going to stand strong on that. Anyway, after you've made abundantly clear what you want out of the relationship, which you should have done from the absolute beginning. So again, I'm going to put the accountability back on women. You should make it abundantly clear what you're looking for from the absolute beginning. Once you have done that, and this person is either unwilling or unable to deliver, then that's when you need to end the relationship. Because if I've expressed to my partner that I really want to be married, I believe in the institution of marriage, and I want children, and I say that before we're dating, and I say that during we're dating, and we're 3 years down the line, and he's like, I don't really know if I believe in marriage, well, guess what? The relationship has to end. And this goes back to my original answer in regards to the fabric of who you are, the fabric of your belief system. If you have a particular belief system and this person is not in alignment with your belief system, then that means that you guys are not an appropriate match. It does not mean that he is a bad guy. It does not mean that you're a bad person either. But if the two of you are not on the same page in regards to your goals and values, you are wasting your time, you're wasting his time, and you're wasting those little babies that are waiting to get cracked. Okay? So to reiterate, when do you know to leave? Again, without much context, generally speaking, if there's any form of abuse, you need to separate yourself. If this person then wants to go to therapy and better themselves and you have evidence that they've done so 6 months later, a year later, because healing takes time, you want to reconsider it after they've gone through a process and you have proof that they have, cool, but you need to remove yourself while you can still maintain your physical health and your sanity. And then number 2, what the hell was number 2? Yeah, if they're not on the same page as you. So if you guys do not share the same goals, the same values, the same morals, then it's not going to work. It's not going to change. And you're wasting your time and you're wasting their time. Can I take a second though Can we talk for a second about wasting other people's time? I think there's a lot of conversation in regards to men wasting women's time, which is valid because I'm going to be honest with you, and men who are on here might not like it. Unfortunately, women's time is just more valuable. It's biology. It's not my fault. Don't blame me. I'm not Mother Nature, right? Our time is literally more valuable because as time moves forward, right? As we move forward in life, the things that we can biologically do, we can no longer do. Our desires cannot be fulfilled after X amount of date. And so our time is more valuable. We talk about that a lot, but can we have a conversation about something that's not discussed? We don't talk about women wasting men's time. We don't talk about women wasting men's time. And I'm not talking about the women who are like finessers. We're not talking about finessing. We're not talking about city girls, right? Big up to the city girls. I like them. I like their energy for women who are in that portion of their life. That's not me, but whatever, right? I like it. Now, I got distracted because I got a message from Clubhouse and this is my life. Okay, so wasting guys' time. Let's talk about that because I think people don't talk about it. What does it look like? So our perspective is that when a man is wasting a woman's time, he is aware that he is not interested in her in the long term, but still deals with her because of some benefit, because of sex, because of care, because of whatever, right? But women waste men's time too. And this is how. Women will waste a man's time because she is fully aware that he does not want what she wants. She is fully aware that he does not want what she wants. She talks about marriage and he says, I don't know. She talks about children and he says, I'm not sure, right? She knows in the depths of her mind and her heart that they're not on the same page. And she will continue to date him and then be pissed at him when she finally puts her foot down and says, when are we going to get married? And he says, I'm not sure. She will be so furious when she says, look, I'm 38. When are we having kids? And he says, I'm not sure. So you wasted my time. No, sis, you wasted your time because he made it abundantly clear to you that he was unsure. And we all know from childhood, when mommy or daddy says, when you say, can I go to the party? And mommy or daddy says, we'll see, that means no. We know that means no. Sometimes when they say, yes, can we go to the party? And then it's the night of the party, they act like, what party? I gave you the invitation. It's on the fridge, right? When people say they don't know, that means no. When people say they're not sure, that means no. So you need to accept it as no. So one, you wasted your own time because all the red flags were there and you refused to see it and believe it because he's a good man. And we already covered that goodness is not enough, right? But then secondly, you knew what it was. You wasted his time too. Because again, if he is a good man, he was committed to you. He just wasn't on the same page as you. And you knew that. And you allowed the relationship to continue in the hopes that you could change his mind. And then now you're 38, you're 39, you're 40, you're 41. You're coming to the realization that you can't change his mind and you mad at him. Be mad at you. Because you knew what it was and you refused to see it. And you were sure you could change his mind. And you were sure you can change him. And you were wrong. And now you've wasted your own time. Now biology is against you. And you've wasted his time too. So I just want to, let's put it out there. A lot of times we think women are the victims all the time in romantic relationships. And we do not take into consideration that a lot of what we do to ourselves. I don't know if you guys remember that meme of like a cartoon that was riding on a bike. And then it would put like a little stick in the wheel and then fall over and then blame the bike or blame somebody else. Nah, a lot of times we do it to ourselves and we have to take responsibility and accountability so we don't make the same mistakes over and over and over and continue to blame others for our errors. And then we're mad when we're in the position that we're in and we do not take responsibility. So it ends up being a vicious cycle. Let's break that cycle. Let's start to be reflective. Let's write a journal. Let's have a conversation with a reflective friend. Let's have a conversation with your social media bestie. That's me. I'm going to tell you the truth. And then so we can work out those kinks and we don't make the same mistakes over again. So we can finally have the flourishing, successful relationships that we want. I have an 1.5-hour training. The link is in my bio where we talk about all of this. So please feel free to click the link in my bio. It's the first button. It's called Free Training, the Partner You Deserve. Register. You can watch it instantly or you can schedule for me to send you a link. Whatever time is available to you. I think it has like 3 days out in advance with different time slots. I send you the link at that time. You click on it. You watch it. You take copious notes and then you start enacting change. We're not going to be in a better position if we keep complaining and keep bitching and moaning and keep watching people's lives and keep consuming all their free content, and then we take no action. Or even if you do hire a pro to help you, right? And then you take no action. When I first started this business, I took on 3 clients for absolutely free so I could sharpen my tools, right? So I can get myself in a position where I could really hone in on my skill set. I had 3 clients. 3. Out of the 3 of them, one of them took action. And she's on this live right now, Miss Stephanie Blair, right? One took action and she wrote her book, and her book is published. The link is in her bio. The other one started a process and I worked with her, extended through that, and she's about halfway there. The last one, you can hire a pro, you can get a pro, you can buy all the books you want. I got an ebook too. You can buy it, you can read it. I'd love the support, but if you don't take action, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money. You have to make a choice in your life. You have to hone in on exactly what you want, put a plan in place to take action, and then do so. And if you need pro help in order to get there, then stop being cheap and buy it. Whatever you need to do in order to get yourself where you need to be, take the action and stop complaining. And that is all I have for today. I love you all. You're amazing. Please feel free to share this link with anyone who you think needs a swift kick in the butt. Share my page with anyone who you think needs some advice in regards to relationship. Click the link in my bio. The first link is for a free training. The second link is to book a call. If you already know what it is and you know, Alison, you are the one who can help me, click the link in my bio. Let's get on a call. Let's see how I can help. The third link, I think, is my ebook, The 10 Love Commandments. It outlines the 10 things you need in order to have a successful relationship. It's only $20. Miss Stephanie Blair is here in the comments. She's typed in her website if you want to check in her free, not free girlfriend. I'm thinking about me. Her amazing children's book geared towards Caribbean families. Please check that out, and I'm out. Love you all. Adios.